Welcome to the Seven Sisters. I'm Ethereal Adam. Have you ever wondered if extraterrestrials are real or science fiction? Are you tired of seeing UFO programs on TV of so-called UFO hunters that travel across country to interview someone that knows someone that supposedly saw a UFO, or interview a person that tells a story of seeing a UFO? They may go to a location where a UFO was seen and take soil samples, but at the end of the show, you see no real proof of UFOs. Well, I'm Ethereal Adam. I am the best known UFO hunter around today. What makes me the best UFO hunter is that I have been interacting with extraordinary UFOs since before 2013, and I have documented it with a video camera. I have over 70 videos that I personally recorded of my close encounters of the first and second kind with them. I have had an ongoing relationship with the intelligence that controls a group of UFOs called the Foo Fighters. The term Foo Fighter was used by Allied aircraft pilots in World War II to describe some UFOs that had the appearance of balls of light which could disappear and reappear. Donald J. Myers of the 415th Night Fighter Squadron has been credited with naming them after a cartoon strip in the Chicago Tribune. I am going to prove that the Foo Fighters are not UFOs to me, because I can identify them by 6 characteristics that they display. Remember, a UFO is an unidentified flying object, nothing more and nothing less. If you can identify it, it's not a UFO. I am also going to prove that the Foo Fighters cannot be top secret military craft or new technology from private propulsion groups. The Foo Fighters are patrolling our planet on a regular basis, and I first noticed them patrolling the sky above my neighborhood in February of 2013. I began recording them with a digital camera on a regular basis. Over time, they noticed me documenting them from my backyard, and they began flying closer and closer to me each day as they would pass by. The first video I'm going to play is from April 4th, 2013.
I got him. This type of shit happens every day. I got him. Hey, where you going, buddy? Stay in focus. I'm having to zoom in. Oh, where'd you go? Just like that, it's gone in the blink of an eye. Super fast. Got one.
So, what did you think of the last two videos? I am Ethereal Adam, and I am a skeptic. That means that I bind myself to the psychology of skepticism. The psychology of skepticism states that extraordinary claims require extraordinary proof. So if I'm going to tell you that I've been interacting with extraterrestrial beings, I have to provide you with extraordinary proof that I've been doing that. Likewise, if a person wanted to say that there are no such thing as extraterrestrial beings, they must provide extraordinary proof that there are not. So in these videos, I want to talk real quick about some feedback that I've gotten on them. I've showed them to close friends and family members, and I've been a little disappointed in some of the ways that people have communicated with me. You cannot use opinions to prove things. You must use facts. So one of the things that's been said is, oh, those are meteors. Well, I'm not going to waste our time on that. Meteors are falling stars. They fall down. Sometimes they arc down. They dissipate very quickly. They're obviously not meteors. Another thing that I've heard is, oh, what, that airplane? Well, you didn't see an airplane because I didn't see an airplane because it's not an airplane. There are no wings. There is no body of an airplane. FAA guidelines say that non-military craft must have a red light on one wing and a green light on the other wing, and then the tail has to have a blinking white light. Now, military is exempt, so often I will hear, oh, well then that's a military plane. But again, you have to prove it. Did you see a military plane? No, you didn't. In the next video, I'm going to show you a UFO, and I'm going to prove that it can't be a military plane, and it can't be a private propulsion company. But before I do that, I want to talk about the third thing, and this is the best thing that I've heard. I had someone say, oh, that's a satellite. Now, when you're having a scholarly discussion with college professors, scientists, ufologists, you cannot use opinions as facts. So it is totally wrong to stand up and blurt out, oh, that's a satellite, because it absolutely isn't. I'm going to tell you why. But before I do, I want you to know that if we're in a group of people and a person makes a statement, statements are taken as fact. So the listeners presume that if a person is stating it is a satellite, they presume that person has prior experience with satellites. They don't think that a person is going to get up and state an untruth. And that is incorrect. It cannot be a satellite, and this is why. There are three major types of satellites: geostationary, polar orbit, and LEO. Now there's more satellites than that. I'm going to talk about a couple real quick. Geostationary is a satellite that is 22,000 miles above the Earth, out in outer space. And as the Earth turns, a geostationary satellite moves with the Earth. So if you saw a geostationary satellite with a telescope or what have you, it would have the appearance that it was sitting still, even though it is moving, but it's moving with the rotation of the Earth, so you wouldn't be able to tell it's moving. 22,000 miles is a long ways out there. So then you have polar orbit satellites, where you have the planet Earth and you have satellites orbiting around it at a different longitude every time they circle. A few degrees over, they move a few degrees over every time. And they orbit higher than LEO. LEO satellites stand for Low Earth Orbit Satellites. And these are the lowest orbiting satellites that there could be. And they orbit between 99 miles and 1,200 miles above the Earth. And nowadays they're putting them at about 120 miles up. But let's just use 99 miles. 99 miles, the lowest that they possibly could be, is over 522,000 feet above the Earth. Now, to give you some perspective, a jumbo jet airliner that cruises at an altitude of about 30,000 feet. I think they can go up to about 50. They don't like to do that. They like 30. So If you take 50,000, which is ridiculous, but take 50, and then multiply it by 10, that's 500,000 feet. So, in the last videos that you saw one of the Foo Fighters as I was filming it through tree limbs. Well, that means that I was filming out and not up. That means that there's no way that that was 522,000 feet above the Earth, and therefore it's ridiculous to say that they're satellites. Now, in this next video, I'm going to prove some very interesting things, and I'm going to use the psychology of skepticism to do it.
There we go. There's my buddy right there. And I don't have any battery. I don't have any battery, and there he is. I'm gonna run out of battery on this one. It's in the sky right there. I'll lower it. See, there's the neighbor's house. There it is, right there in the sky. All anybody has to do is look up, and it's right there in front of everybody. Nobody sees it. You can see stuff like this every day. Every day. Every day. Yeah, it's an airplane. Did you see that? That was pretty neat. Did you see that though? I'm gonna go back down. Was that just me or did something fly by? Wow. Something flew by. Okay, let's take a look at that video again in slow motion. This is March 26th, 2013. In the center of the screen, you see a jumbo jet airliner, the bright light. It's coming in for a landing at Will Rogers World Airport. Just to the right of it, you'll see a dimmer light. It looks like a star. That is not a star. That, to most people, is a UFO, an unidentified flying object. And at this time, I have been standing out in my backyard 2 to 3 nights a week. I've been seeing 3 or 4 UFOs a night. The reality has set in where I'm understanding that these extraordinary UFOs are patrolling my neighborhood every night, and I'm a little freaked out. So I'm mistaking the airplane for a UFO because they don't usually turn all of their lights on like that. In fact, I suspect that the airline pilot may have seen the UFO and turned on all the lights on the plane as some sort of a defense mechanism or distress signal. So as you can see, the UFO is hovering, the jumbo airliner is moving, and it's going to come in for a landing at Will Rogers World Airport. We're facing the south, and the airplane is moving north. This is south side of Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. The jumbo jet is going to continue north. It's going to do a U-turn by moving back to the west, and it's going to land at Will Rogers World Airport, which is to the west of this location. Now, the camera is going to zoom in on the airplane here, and you're not going to see the UFO. And when the camera pulls back, you will see some trees, you'll see the neighbor's roof, and you'll notice that the UFO is now gone. So it could not have been a star, and it could not have been an aircraft of any kind because it couldn't have got out of the frame that quickly. So this extraordinary unidentified flying object, what it did is it went straight up above the top of the frame, and it's going to come down and purposefully buzz the tail of this jumbo jet airliner. And I'll put that in slow motion for you to watch it slowly. Now, I am using a Sony handheld digital camera. The graphics aren't real great. I bought it for about $280. I'm not using a tripod, and I'm basically having to teach myself how to work a camera. So I'm seeing 3 to 4 UFOs a night, but I'm having a hard time getting them in the frame. The autofocus was a problem. I didn't start getting good shots till I turned that off too. Um, so if you can pause it, you'll see that the UFO has the appearance as a ball of light. And if you pause it in the right place, you should be able to see somewhat of a gravity distortion around the UFO as it appears as little specks of light around it. Um, so that's the end pretty much of this one.
Analyzing the last video skeptically, what could the UFOs be? Well, there's no question that there are no known aircraft that behave like that one does. Could it be ball lightning? Well, ball lightning would essentially be a piece of lightning bolt that breaks off and holds itself into the shape of a ball. Lightning is plasma and can be created in a lab, but there are no known forces in nature that could hold it in the shape of a ball. Even if you could hold plasma in the shape of a ball, it would move at random with no intelligence. The UFO in the video clearly was intelligently controlled and purposefully buzzed the tail of the Airbus. Therefore, it could not be ball lightning. I've never seen proof that ball lightning exists. Could it be top secret military aircraft? Well, in Oklahoma, we have miles and miles of empty land. If you go 2 hours in any direction by car, you'll be in the middle of nowhere. So it doesn't make sense that the military would test top secret aircraft over a populated city like Oklahoma City. The commercial airplane that you saw in the video could potentially have had 200 people on it. Would a military pilot be allowed to buzz that airplane, endangering up to 200 people's lives? I don't think so. It just doesn't make sense that the UFO was a top secret military plane. Well, what about a private propulsion company testing a new technology? Again, I think the same rules apply. Why test over a populated area? Why endanger all those people's lives? And would a pilot keep his or her job if he did that? Not to mention that for the next 2 years, I regularly stood in my backyard and interacted with these UFOs. They showed me that they have the appearance as balls of light, and they're silent when they fly. They often move in S patterns, bouncing back and forth off of gravity. They can energize, getting brighter and brighter and brighter, and at their peak they throw purple light. They can cloak themselves, and by cloak themselves I mean they can make themselves invisible to your eyes if they wish. And when they come within 200 or 300 feet of you, you can see that the white ball of light has a purple hue around it. I have recorded all of these characteristics, and if you subscribe to my channel, I will show them to you. I call these type of UFOs Foo Fighters out of respect for pilot and radar operator Officer Donald J. Myers, who originally gave them that name in 1944. I believe that the craft I see display the same characteristics that he saw. That means if this technology is human technology, humans have had it since 1944. And no group or country has claimed it or used it in war. So what else could it be? Well, it could be extraterrestrials from outer space. In fact, based on all of my life experiences, I strongly suspect that that's what they are. Subscribe to my channel and decide for yourself. On the next episode of The Seven Sisters, I will be showing you a video of the infamous black triangle that I recorded myself from my backyard on June 20th, 2013.